This is the Post Shift Podcast, your raw look at the hospitality industry.
What's happening, Post Shifters, and welcome to another episode of the Post Shift Shots. It is Tuesday, so it's midweek for most people. If you're in the west coast of Canada, I'm in Singapore right now, so you'll be listening to this on Tuesday at 9 a.m. So I posted a question because I've been traveling a lot. Obviously, I'm going to spend, at the end of this stint, almost 4 months in Singapore this year, which, when you talk about like 10-week stints and 8-week stints, doesn't seem like long, but then when you say like a third of the year has been spent in Singapore, which is just insane, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do at all. I miss my family a great deal. I miss my wife. I miss my daughter a great deal, and it's extremely hard to do. And I had a few people ask me how I do it, mainly because I'm married with a family, and it's difficult. I think for me, the easiest thing to say is that, I'm doing a very wobbly camera here. The easiest thing for me to say is that I try and call my family at least twice a week, twice a day. Once in the morning when I wake up, once before I go to bed. I'll stay up late if I have to speak to them. Mila is not exactly the most personal person on FaceTime. And she sort of holds her feelings in, which I have no idea where she gets that from. But I get a chance to talk to Jill and sort of catch up on life and sort of be normal. But traveling for this long stints, I did 7 weeks the first time. I had 4 weeks off, and then I came back. Well, I really traveled before I came back as well. I did Toronto and Montreal before I came back, which was a lot. So it was significant, and so I wanted to sort of talk about how to deal with travel. So I posted the question on Facebook, which I'm going to change hands again here. And so I pitched it to a lot of brand ambassador friends who travel a lot. Obviously, I'm in my hotel room today because it is bitchin' hot outside, and I'm going to go for a walk shortly, so I want to try and stay cool until I really, really have to be out there. Heat, it's like 37 degrees outside. So I pitched it a lot. The great thing is that there was a lot of personal feedback, like what you do for your personal self, which I kind of agree with. For me, I try and get into a routine. My first visit here in Singapore was really about going out and exploring the culture, getting price points, seeing how everybody else sort of runs their business here in Singapore, staffing, that sort of thing. But this time around, I said I was visiting Singapore last time. This time around, I'm saying that I am living here. So I try and do groceries once every couple of days. I try and make dinner for myself instead of going out all the time. I try and have a relatively routine. So I exercise a ton. I go on a 8-kilometer walk most mornings, and then I do like a 30-minute walkout. So I wake up early, get that done before I go to work, so I feel a little bit more centered, which is a lot of things that a lot of people said. So like, I know that like Philip Grambois, Lauren Mott, a lot of the guys I know who travel a lot, fitness is a big thing for them. The cool one was Michael Piccolo. He works here in Singapore, and he actually brings a scent with him. So he uses a scent at home, in his home, and then he brought the scent with him so that it feels like it's at home. And I thought that was a really cool little touch, because like I have like little trinkets and stuff like that, which a few other people, I'm looking at the thing right now, a few other people bring stuff from home to remind themselves of home. And so for me, that's kind of what I wanted to sort of do. So I brought some trinkets with me this time around that remind me of home. Balance and self-care, what came from Nicola Risky. Again, it goes back to that personal sort of approach of always trying to make time for yourself, because the hard thing is when you travel, you get sort of, I think Jonathan mentioned it on my Facebook chat, that you sort of get caught up in I'm here, so I got to do everything I possibly can, thinking that you're never going to come back. 9 times out of 10, you're going to come back. So you can sort of space yourself out, which I've tried to do this time around. Like, I'm not hitting cocktail bars every night of the week or the weekends or anything like that. I'm actually like really more of a homebody, exactly what I'm like back home in Canada. So this time around has been very, very different for me. And I feel like I've been more deep down in the workload that I've got right now for opening these 2 venues in Singapore at the same time. Nicola took a big, long thing. She's like, you've got to do proper exercise and cope with it. The cool thing is that what was Jonathan, Lauren? Oh, Lauren's one was kind of cool actually. Is like I do this a little bit too because I try not to get jet lag, and I can humbly say that I don't usually get jet lag. She was like prepping for the time zone you're arriving to a day or two before, so staying up. So doing that. So for me, I stupidly stay up usually 24 hours straight, and I'm completely exhausted by the time I land, and I pass out, and then I wake up the next day, and I'm clicked into the time zone. But she had a really cool thing with like sort of building your time zones a couple of days ahead, and then of course that trying to find time for FaceTime and that sort of stuff. So that was kind of cool. I kind of dig that. A lot of people said they bring snacks along, so they feel like bring snacks along. I actually try and find snacks. I think my local Little Creatures brew works just down the street has a Vegemite and cheese quesadilla, which I know sounds really weird, but it's something I would eat back home. For me, I go to have brunch every day at Fireballs. Oh, sorry, not every day. On the weekends, Fireballs, I have the exact same food every single time. I know that sounds really repetitive, but I have avocados and eggs with an extra poached egg. It's delicious. Right, exactly what I need, especially with me being a little bit more healthy this time around, not drinking as much, so on and so forth. Angus Winchester had a really interesting one because he used to travel something like ridiculous, like 363 days a year. He would be traveling. He was mentioning that he gets energized by the work, which is a really great like root thing, is that if you're not enjoying your work, whether you be a brand ambassador, traveling brand consultant, bar consultant like myself, if you're not enjoying the work, it can become a real drag really quickly. So this really goes back to loving what you like and all that sort of stuff. So really it goes back to like, unless you love what you're doing, don't do it, unless it's not making you happy. The cool one that Treve Ring, who's a good friend of mine in Victoria, she travels a ton, she's a wine journalist, she said making time for your family, which I completely 100% agree with you. Always trying to like set your alarm early. She travels way more than I do and in way more different time zones. So setting your alarm early. The cool thing that she said is that she's sort of, when she is home and when she's traveling, she's always sort of setting an example for her kids that the world is small, you can get out and travel and be cultured and eat new things and all this sort of stuff, which I thought was kind of a silver lining, positive twist on traveling so much and being away from your family, is that you can really show your family. And I'm hoping my family comes to Singapore at the end of this stint, mainly because it will be a long one. But yeah, so Alex Black said about 7-minute workouts and self-care. Donnie Ronan was like catch up on your phone with your inner circle. Francine Kona was also like bring personal things. For me, if you look beside my TV right there, you can see that I've got a little kangaroo. That's from Mila. She actually threw it in my suitcase before I left, and she was like, "Daddy, you need to take this with you so you remember where you came from." Treve Ring, Roman Nunes. So he was sort of like gave a really realistic one. He said that it's hard to stick to the same routine at all times. He also said bring little things, bring pictures and that sort of stuff. And then of course Ryan Simpson said find sports teams to join and make sure you hook up your PS4, which I have no time for a PS4. But I wanted to talk about travel because a lot of us, as we get older, we get into jobs where it's a bar consultant or a brand ambassador. Brand ambassador is a big one for a lot of people. And we travel a lot, whether it be inside Canada, whether it be outside Canada, whether it be all over the world. Some of us have families, some of us have partners. And the thing is that sometimes we're not really ready to do these sort of jobs, and you have to be mentally prepared. And the first time around I was here, it went really quick. This time around it's sort of dragging out, I think probably because I'm not going out drinking every single night. But I wanted to give you some pointers. If you want to, just go onto my Facebook, look for the conversation, some really good pointers there. But
thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.